Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Money Cure podcast. I'm your host, Reverend Sean Robert Grant. We are diving into part two, the journey to manifesting abundance in money. Yes, we talked about this. If you hadn't listened to the last episode, you definitely want to go back one and listen to it. And I have dedicated myself, taking on a personal and spiritual challenge to enable as many people as possible to be able to manifest. You can call it infinite abundance. You can call it supreme abundance, but we want abundance in the form of every single thing we can and need, money included, to live the life that we choose to live and desire. And so I'm going to come at you with as much as I got to ensure that that's a possibility for you. And if you wind up sharing the podcast, for everyone else who listens to it. I'll say this and then we'll get to our business side of things. If you're going to change your relationship to abundance, to money, you must put yourself into a position to where you have a strong enough desire and passion to change things. Because I'm going to tell you something, and I know from experience, if there's not a strong enough desire for something, and that's a heartfelt desire, not just a random desire. We can get into that a bit later down the road. But if there's not a strong enough desire to change something, nothing ever changes. But when you allow a heartfelt motivation to come up and to empty out the energy needed to transform that situation, you can transform it. I'm living proof of it. You can be living proof of it if you're not already. And it's a beautiful thing when you begin to get to that space of really allowing things to be different. And because it's a money podcast, we're referring to especially all areas of life, but more importantly, in the form of money and abundance. So before we get into all this good stuff I got for you today, if you have any questions, any comments, any feedback, please write to us at shaung04@gmail.com, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Wherever you are, please feel free to share this podcast. These are also downloadable, so you can download them to your device and listen to them over and over and over. I recommend that because the reality is, in order for things to change has to start within the deeper subconscious, the subconscious mind in general. And like I said, there's got to be a passion behind it. So thank you in advance to each and every one of you that have purchased the Money Cure book. Thank you very much. It's definitely worth the read. It's written in a short, concise way on purpose, but just because it's short, only 125 pages, does not mean it is not a powerhouse of a money book. So by all means, if you can, go get that on Amazon, available in paperback. They usually get it to you pretty quickly. And Kindle, if you're a digital reader. All right. So with that being said, let me just get a sip of water here real quick, and we're going to get into it. That's some good stuff. All right, let's get into it today. So part two, the journey to manifesting abundance and money. So if you read the description, and I'm sure you probably do, because that is what is likely going to lead you here, especially if you're a first timer, you saw that I was going to divulge and extrapolate on wisdom that I received that actually really helped me to alleviate a lot of the issues that I had with money and money in general. And so, I need to clarify something. When I say money, in most cases, I'm referring to the energy of money, the consciousness of money. Now, I sometimes use it interchangeably to describe the green pieces of paper and the money you find in your account. But because this is a spiritual podcast, when we talk about money, we're talking about it along the lines of energy. We're talking about it along the lines of the vibration aspect, the frequency aspect, the consciousness aspect of it within you, within us, right? That's what we're referring to. And the reason I say that is because our topic leads us into the misconception that what we've been told is we have to control how money moves into our lives. We have to finagle, we have to chokehold, we have to forcefully gather the pattern in which money decides to flow. Well, I'm going to tell you that is absolutely impossible, right? And you may say, there's a lot of people out there, and I've had this discussion. They tell me, well, when you have a job, the money comes all the time. But guess what? You're not the one controlling that money. The money's being controlled by the boss, right? So it's not a case of you being, oh, I'm in complete control and I can manifest money. No. I'm talking about when you are on your own and you are supplying, well, not necessarily supplying, but you are a vessel for infinite supply to come through you. There is no way to control when that money is going to come. Now, what we can control is our attitudes and our ideas and our vibration, our frequency towards that. Okay? That's very important to know, because I'm going to tell you why. When we come to a place where we deal with money physically and we obsessed over it physically, anything in the material world we obsess over is going to make us a slave to it. And why is that? Because ultimately nothing can be changed in the physical world until it is changed within ourselves, within our consciousness first. You just can't do it. And even though it may seem like you can and you have, that has to start with an idea within you. It has to start on a level of consciousness before it can be relayed to the outer world. And to add on to this, what's interesting is we often limit our power from within, where all the power lies, right? We often limit our power from within because we're dealing with trying to change and transform things from the outside. I love it because I used to always say, whenever I would have clients, I would say, like, so all of a sudden you get fired from your job and you're in need of a certain amount of money to come into your life. What's the first thing you do? And 97, 98% of the people, probably 99 actually, say, well, I pull out the dailies, or I go to Indeed or Job Builder, Career Builder, whatever it is, and I look for another job. No, that's not how it works, right? What looks lost in the material is not really lost in the spiritual. And the reason being is because there can be no lack spiritually as it comes to money, spiritually as it comes to anything. Energy, the energetic realm, the spiritual realm, is where everything is just pure, unfiltered, unadulterated abundance, right? That's the energy of it. And when we tap into that energy and we deal with that energy, we're no longer affected by what happens in the physical world. And even if we are, it's very limited, as opposed to someone who lives and dies by what happens in the material reality. So the basis of this episode is letting go of the control of money, like letting go of attempting to try and control it, letting go, in a sense, of there's going to be times where money just absolutely flows into your life and it flows uninhibited. And there's going to be times where it just, I don't say it stops, but it doesn't flow as frequently, right? And so if you understand energy and sometimes you can get a lot of flack because people selling you stuff, and I'm going to be as real and honest as I can with you. And I'm always trying to be as authentic as I possibly can. But people selling you stuff, when they try to sell you these money manifestation products and these get rich such and such, they make you believe that you can manifest money at will. They make you believe that you can just snap your fingers and money will appear. But the reality is life does not work that way. Because if that was the case, our energy would be thrown off. Our energy naturally ebbs and flows, right? There's a tide to it. And there's a tide for stuff when stuff goes out, and there's a tide when stuff comes back, right? But it's finding the balance within those two so you're not caught up believing this hogwash. And I call it hogwash because it's so misleading. It's such a misconception that you can just snap your fingers and like a magician, money just manifests all the time. No, right? But there is what we call a harvest time where your flow becomes dynamically larger and more expansive than it is at other times throughout the year or throughout the seasons, right? So it's about being conscious and intelligent when that unfolds. So when it does slow up, then you can kind of take a step back and you're not hustling. One of the biggest issues is people are under the impression that money will just flow into a harvest state of being or a harvest state of flow, if you will, for all the time. And that just, it can't happen. It like, according to life, it doesn't happen. And a lot of times we lose money to learn lessons to help us to progress spiritually. So that's another reason why you can't rely on it to be there overflowing all of the time. Now, if you're tied to a job, that's a different thing. But if you're living an entrepreneurial life where you're living self-employed, where you are the one providing the income, it's important to understand these patterns, right? And in understanding these patterns, the main objective is not to get caught up, not to get so overwhelmed and delved into the idea of this physical money and making it manifest and making it unfold. It just ends in frustration. Okay. It ends in frustration. It ends in basically the futility of trying to control something once again in the physical world. That's not where our power lies. Our power lies internally in the mental, emotional, and spiritual. And then from there, things operate, right? They become a reflection into the physical reality. So knowing that, you never push yourself into a position to try and go manipulate physical reality. It's like we said in a few episodes back. I'll give you this example again because it's such a great example. It would be like being in the mirror, standing in front of a mirror, right? And all of a sudden, let's say you have dirt all over your face and you're standing in front of the mirror. What's the normal way to change not having dirt on your face? Of course, you wipe your face. But what most people do as it relates to money is they try to wipe the mirror clean and expect their face to be clean, but it doesn't work like that, right? This is how physical reality works. If I see something wrong in my physical world and I go and attempt to try and change it physically, I'm going to expand and exacerbate that problem. That's just how it is, right? That's how the universe works. That problem is going to expand so much, and before I know it, it's going to drive me crazy. Why? Because I've entangled myself and got attached to thinking that I can go above universal law and change something physically when the only thing I can change, and this is beautiful, and this is really powerful, the only thing I can change is myself, how I feel about myself, and how I feel about life and everything in life. That's the only thing I have the power to change. But the beauty is that's the only thing that I need. That's the only power that I need. I don't need anything else, right? Something bother you from the outside. Guess what? You know what you do? You don't go and try and change it from the outer life or from the physical reality. You go within and say, okay, why is this bothering me? Why is this putting me into a space where I feel like I'm all worked up? Easy. It's because internally you've been worked up as it is. And so the outside is just reflecting, right? But once you fix whatever it is that's bugging you on the inside, the outside is going to fix itself. And it's a given. It's a flat out given in every sense of the word that this happens the way that it does. Okay. So we're under the understanding, let's just say physical money is the mirror, right? Now, I look at my account. let's say I look at my entire money situation. I have an abundance of money in my account. I feel really good and grateful about where I am. I've got money coming in. I am able to give. I'm able to do everything that I feel like doing. What does that tell me? Right? That tells me internally I have aligned to exactly where I want to be. There's nothing that needs to be changed. Now, what if I'm on the opposite of that? Right? What if I'm on the opposite of, like, instead of having an abundance of money, I'm barely getting by. Instead of, being able to do the stuff that I want, I'm nervous as hell about even going to the store to get what I need. Right? So the one thing that we think should happen when this unfolds, right? The one thing we think should happen when this unfolds is we start to press the physical reality, right? We press it by what do we start doing? Well, we got to make more money, right? We got to get more money. We got to get more money coming in. And then that allows us to basically miss the entire reflection of what the universe is trying to show us, right? When this stuff unfolds, the universe is saying, look, you are completely out of alignment with abundance. And there's stuff you need to do to dive within in order to shift and transform this. And once again, stuff can't shift and change and transform until we shift, change, and transform within ourselves, right? So instead of thinking, well, okay, let me just go do something really quick to make a quick buck. No, stop right there, right? That's trying to control the physical aspect of money. Doesn't work like that, right? But if we come within and we say, you know what? First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be grateful for everything that I have, even if I'm just getting by. Even if I can't do the things that I want to do, you know what? I'm going to reminisce and think about the things that I've been fortunate enough to do. And I'm going to dive into that gratitude. And I'm going to let it fill me up. And I'm going to feel good about it. And then all of a sudden, guess what happens? A wave of energy is sent out through the universe. You begin to embark upon a different frequency. And that frequency, all of a sudden, seeks out a like frequency. And then it starts to bring thoughts and ideas. And next thing you know, you find your thinking follows how you're feeling. And before you know it, sometimes it happens quickly. Sometimes it takes a bit of time. The outside begins to change, right? The outside begins to transform itself, all because you decided to shift into gratitude for what you already had, as opposed to attempting to change physically the material world. I tell you guys, this helped me so much in a sense of I was just making all of these useless attempts to try and I mean, just aside from the resistance to the situation that I was having, I just found myself doing just all types of craziness to try to overcome a situation that the universe just wanted me to see. Look, this is what you're resonating with, right? This is why you're doing this stuff, because you're resonating on this frequency. Change that frequency, change that vibration, and you won't have to deal with this stuff again, right? And until I got that, right? Until I got that, there was no way for me to expand and move forward into where abundance became easy and effortless and money could express itself from that. As I continued to obsess over the physical aspects of money, the material aspects of money, I just continued to repeat that pattern over and over and over again until one day, by divine intervention or divine design, it hit me that my real power, which is the infinite God within me, the presence of God within myself, is inside. It's inside. If I understand that all the power I need and desires inside of me, I can affect my world from that perspective. You see, what you're really going after is not objects, is not, certain circumstances or situations. What you're really going after is a feeling, is a consciousness inside of yourself. That's what you want, because that's the thing that's going to create what you're desiring on the outside. But you got to know it comes from the inside first. So I encourage you today, if you're ready and you're willing, to let go of the idea that physical money has any power over you, because it doesn't. It's a beautiful thing. And I mean, it's amazing when it shows up, but to obsess over it blocks it from showing up. To obsess over it and become attached to it blocks the beauty that it represents into our lives, in our lives, rather. And then it just becomes, like we said before, it's a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. And it will make you do all types of stuff. Not it, but the emotions behind it will make you do all types of stuff you've never even begun to imagine. And it is challenging when you are hung up in that space. But the thing is, you don't need to be. You don't need to be hung up in that space at all, under any circumstance whatsoever. You can rise higher. You can expand. And you can know, just think of the mirror, right? Imagine yourself sitting in front of a mirror holding, like, however much, whatever it is, a whole just pot of gold, right? Like, I say that because we have to change ourselves first in order for the reflection in life to change. But what I mean by holding like a pot of gold, see yourself, right? And if it's not in the reflection, say, okay, who do I need to become within in consciousness to be the individual holding on to this, right? Who do I need to become? Who do I need to be? What identity do I need to adopt to be in this place, to be this person who can manifest this or manifest that? It's all energy. It's all consciousness. It's all vibration, and it's all frequency. And it's the consciousness, vibration, and frequency that changes the physical reality. Not going after money, not doing everything possible for money. It's amazing what you'll see on YouTube as far as ads go, and these people will come and they will tell you, I just made $4 million on YouTube doing this, doing this, doing this. Now, I totally believe them. I think it's possible, but the inner state that has to be present in order to manifest that money is one that is vibrationally compatible and compatible on frequency with the idea of money for it to flow in like that. You see, that's what they don't tell you. But they sell you this product, and you get this product and you start doing the stuff that they're telling you to do, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work. Why does it not work? Because if you're not on that same frequency, if you don't understand money from the standpoint of vibration and energy and consciousness, you're going to struggle. Hands down. You're going to struggle and continue to struggle, because we don't deal with money on the level of the physical aspect of it. You ever realize it has no charge? Like you spend so much time trying to get it sometimes, but then when you get it, it's just like, okay, oh, is this all there is? Because it's not really about the physical stuff. It's about the energy that you exude. It's about the energy you hold within yourself. That's what it comes down to, right? So until we learn how to master that, we can't master what's outside of us. But how do we start? We start by not trying to control the physical aspects of it, by not trying to go after the physical aspects of it. If something needs to change in our life, we change it and transform it and shift it within ourselves, and then it shifts from the outside. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. It is always a pleasure wherever you are. I hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful night. As always, please share this podcast with anybody you feel who can benefit from it and use it to their advantage. It's truly a blessing to have you guys with me. We went up drastically on downloads, and Shout out to the Canadians because they were downloading like crazy, but that doesn't, stop me from appreciating everybody in India and everybody in Serbia and Croatia and all these places that are downloading. Guys, keep going. That is just amazing to know that you're learning and you're experiencing an opportunity to shift and make your life better. And so I really appreciate you from that standpoint and from all standpoints. So with that being said, if you have any questions, any comments, any feedback, please, by all means, shaung04@gmail.com. We'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you in advance. Have a wonderful night, day, morning, wherever you are. And we will catch up to you soon. Wrapping up episode 2. Done deal. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.